y'all, and welcome to another exciting episode of Down Home Dirt, the show where we dive deep into the journey of entrepreneurship with those who took the plunge and all the ups and downs that come with it. I'm your host, Dusta, and today I'm joined with Riley Jordan of Riley Jordan Events. Welcome, and thank you for coming out today.
Hi, thanks, Dessa. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited to know more about you and apparently stutter, and I apologize.
It's all good.
So let's start from the beginning. Like, where are you from, and how did you end up in the Triangle?
Yeah, I am from Wilmington, North Carolina, so not too far from here. My whole family lives there still, actually, to this day. So I'm the only one who's ventured away. But my husband and I moved here just about 3 years ago now for work for him. And we have been loving it ever since. We were like, let's just try it for a year, see if we like it. If we don't, worse, we can come back. Like, you can always come back. Um, and then like a couple months in, I was like, I don't think I want to go back. Like, I don't think so. And here we are. We're still kind of in that same boat and just loving it. And I've been really, I've been really enjoying it.
That's what I hear a lot of. A lot of people come to Clayton specifically and they're like, we are never leaving. And that's great.
Yeah.
A small
Yeah.
town that's getting bigger. And I love that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we're staying.
So tell us a little bit about what you do and who's your ideal client.
Yeah, so I own Riley Jordan Events, which is a full service event planning, coordinating, and consulting business. So, really, what that means is I'm trying to partner with individuals, companies, clients that are looking to kind of create more of these memories, right? Like, life is full of different events that happen, and whether that's graduations, weddings, birthday parties, a company holiday party, networking events, regardless of what it is, but just taking these events and really crafting them into these really memorable moments. So, really, I don't necessarily know that I'm having a certain type of individual client that I'm looking for more than anything. Honestly, it's somebody who just can value that experience that I'm trying to provide for them. It's not, you can go and look on blogs or you can look on Pinterest or Facebook groups and pretty much plan your own event, right? Like anybody technically really can do it. But somebody who is going to value that experience, somebody that's going to value that industry knowledge that can partner with them and provide them with the resources and the tools and the connections that they need to really turn just any kind of event into something really special.
I love that you're putting your own like little, it's going to be memorable, it's going to be the best. And I love that because there are so many events that I've gone to, networking including, where I'm just like, this is it. I know a girl.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I think that's a big part of it too, is I've been to those, right? Like where I don't even know where to park. And so then I'm already a little flustered going in and I'm going somewhere where maybe I don't know anybody or it's out of my element or whatever the situation is. But if I can't even figure out where I'm supposed to be parking or I didn't get an email reminder or anything, like little details like that make a really big difference for me. So I'm always trying to source that out and give that to my clients because on the flip end, I like those types of details when I'm attending something.
I completely agree. If it's kind of just like, hey, show up, I'm like, not happening. I need to know
Yeah,
like itinerary, how am we supposed to dress, like what's the theme.
right,
I want to know it
right.
all.
What am I going to expect? Like all that, yeah. Should I bring a friend? Should I not? All, yes, everything. Yeah,
These
me
are
too.
great. This is great. A lot of people just kind of like throw stuff together and sometimes it works out and that's great, but like you really need the plan ahead. I agree on that. So tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about your process. So how does your intake look? Do you have a questionnaire? Do you just kind of feel them out? How do you decide how to work with someone?
Okay, so a little bit of both, but typically, yeah. So we'll hop on and call. Typically, at first, unless it's a company, a lot of times I'll go into their offices to meet with them, depending if they're local or not. But regardless of the format, we always have an initial meeting to learn a little bit more of what exactly they're looking for. Some of my clients, I take on a little bit more of the admin side of the role also when planning events. So maybe that's handling registrations, that's working with marketing, that might be working just internally a lot with their team on certain things, especially with a lot of companies. They're not totally ready to offload it to somebody that they've never worked with before. So I'm a little bit more involved as a team player for that. I'm on certain team meetings, those types of things. So we really just learn what the scope of that project is. If it's more of a personal, like a social event, so typically just a phone call, and that's a little bit faster of an intake form. And we kind of just go through again the specifics. Where are you at in the planning process? What do you need help with? What is your biggest piece of this that you're most looking forward to? Are there details that you really, really care about? Are there details that you didn't even think about and you don't care about? Just kind of really understanding their scope. Because a lot of times with my clients, We meet once in the very beginning and we kind of go over a lot of these things, and we'll touch base throughout the planning, but we really have that first initial really big planning session. Where so that way I can kind of hit the ground running for them and start presenting mood boards and those types of things for them. After we kind of go through that, we go through the official onboarding process, which just looks like paying the deposit and the signing of the contract. And then, depending on the type of event, again, that depends on how much we are meeting. But then after that, I pretty much just get going on a lot of the behind the scene type things. Um, I've had clients where we talk that first time, they pay, sign, and then we don't talk again until the event day. They've completely offloaded the event. And then I have some clients where I think I talk to them once or twice a week up until the event, just depending on the scope of it and kind of also the personality of the individual that I'm working with.
I agree with that. I'd be the type of person where I'm like, here, you just deal with it because I'm not. Just let me know what I need to pay.
Right? Yeah, very much so. I definitely have a few of those. Those are nice when they happen because it allows you to do really what you do completely best, and they're just trust you and they just work with you, and that's great too.
That is like the best kind of client. I'm on when my cleaning company, I have clients that literally leave the house and they're like, here, the air's on 60. Here's cash, bye. And I'm like, you're
Oh,
my favorite. Like I don't have
yes.
to I just clean and I leave and it's great. Other clients will be like, "Oh, just let me know when you're done and I'll pay you." And I'm just like, "If you just let me like mop my way out, we don't have this problem with the floor."
Nothing. We don't have to talk again. Nothing. Yes. It makes a big difference when people can trust you and value you for what you're trying to do. Yeah.
That's absolutely true.
I
So,
get that.
tell me a little bit about what made you make the jump into entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So I have worked in events for around 8 years now. I started off actually as a preschool teacher and planned different like classroom events, but also school wide events. So I loved naturally to be able to scale the event from a small classroom to a school wide event. And then COVID happened. So obviously everything shut down. I think that's probably a pivot point for a lot of people. And during that time, I got involved with the local Parks and Rec department. And so I worked on different community events and I loved that aspect of it. And I loved just being super involved in the community, working with different groups and organizations that I would have never had any contact with probably previously. And so I loved just that sense of community for it. Then my husband and I moved here and got involved with the Chamber of Commerce, did events there, but a little bit more on like the business side of things, so the focus. And I loved that side of things as well. Specifically, though, starting my business is I wanted to be able to walk away from any event knowing that I could have like officially put my seal of approval on it, right? A lot of times when I'm working for other companies or organizations, I was the event planner, I was the coordinator, but there was still people above me that I had to answer to. And one event in particular, I could not even pick the color of the name tags without it being approved. But then up on the stage, it was like, Riley did a great job planning this event, all of the things, right? And I was like, yes, I did really good given the like constraints that I had. But also, if this was up to me, I would have preferred to have done it in a little bit different of a manner. Um, and so that was really a big point for me of just being like, I want to be able to put my name on it, whether the event is a success or not, but I want to be able to own every aspect of it. And that's a really big piece for me as far as wanting to start my business.
I understand that. That was me too. I worked for a cleaning company and this was back in 2014 in Cary. It was like a
Hmm.
while ago, right? And they paid me $9 an hour to clean houses. And I was like, I'm supposed to do 4 houses a day for $9 an hour. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had to
Yeah.
work with a crew of like 4 or 5 people and like do it their way. And I feel you on that. I was like, no, like, yes, we did a great job, but this is not my seal of approval.
Right. Right. I get that. It's hard when you want to be when you value what you do and you want to give that offer to whoever, but you also have that overhead that sometimes can make it a little bit more challenging.
Absolutely. And I think that that's a lot, like a jumping off point for a lot of people too, not only the COVID, but also
Mhm.
wanting to just like have more control over what they're putting out.
Yeah. Especially probably with schedules and just life in general. I think a lot of things shifted in the last few years too. That was a big part for me, especially living here in the Triangle now versus with all my family in Wilmington. Is I wanted to be able to pick up and go to my niece's basketball games or my nephew's soccer game or whatever that looked like, and not have to ask to do that. Like it's up to me to do my business when I need to do it and take care of my clients. But most of what I can do, except on event day, is able to be done remote. And so having that flexibility to be able to go and see friends and family as I choose has been super helpful.
That's a great I love that. That is something that really attracted me to being an entrepreneur too. So that I love that we
Mhm.
agree on that.
Yeah.
So tell me about a time that you had an event that you were very proud of, and how did it go from them hiring you to the end of the event?
Yeah. Um, I think probably one of the more recent ones that I was super thankful for and super proud of was we had an event that was a fundraiser. And it was for a type of event that I had never done before. And so when I walked into that first meeting, I was like, I'm so thankful Google exists because I think I'm going to be learning so much for this. Um, and I definitely did. So I was really proud of myself for learning things and learning certain terminology and stuff that we needed for that event and really just pulling it together in a way that later I found out that they had no idea I didn't know about that event in particular. I mean, we kind of talked about it like I didn't have experience with that type of event, but here's where I do. And so we kind of talked about it, but they're like, you would not have known. And that was a huge, that was a really nice moment for me because I was like, okay, I can do this whether I've done it or not before. Like I can trust myself and my services and also just my ability to learn enough to be able to provide this for the client. So whether it's something that I've done or not before, I was proud of myself for really being able to dive into that.
That's great. I love when somebody throws a curveball at you and you're like, yes, this is an opportunity to learn, instead of,
Yeah.
no, don't hire
I
me.
can't do yeah. I'm like, no, I need it, which has really been really nice. That so working with that company has turned into several other jobs. So I think that it also is like a constant reminder for me of like never being afraid to say no, right? Like it'd be really easy for me to stay in my lane and being like, this is the only thing that I can do. But just being honest with them and saying like I've done similar events or this is my experience. Not 100% of what you're looking for, but and they thankfully were able to trust me enough and we partnered really well that's turned into a lot more other great opportunities with them.
That's fabulous. I love hearing that. You took a risk and then
Mhm.
you took another one and it just keeps paying out.
Yeah, yeah, it's so nice. It was a good reassuring moment for me. Like you're on the right path. Like you're doing good. Yeah.
So let's change gears a little bit and talk about how you market yourself. Like, what is your main marketing strategy currently?
I think probably for me, it is connecting really mostly with my vendors, right? I want to take care of my clients. Obviously, that's really important to me. But on the flip, is I really try to pour into the vendors that I work with or even would potentially work with. And so I spend a lot of time specifically in like January. That's pretty much a slow month for our industry. And so like last January, I went and spent a lot of times with vendors and met for coffee and just saw like what is working and what isn't. Where can I help? Um, I'm more likely to get repeat business from them, but I'm also more likely to be able to send a lot of people their way too, right? And I work typically by myself. I have a team of people that we can bring in for events, but most of it is by myself. So having these vendors is also in a way like having coworkers that I can trust and we can network with and just bounce ideas back and forth of people who get it. Um, and so I think that that's a big way that I've been trying to market myself is really just being available to those vendors and just keeping my name in front of them, sending flowers or a gift after a really big like client has come through from them, anything like that. Of just really trying to take care of the vendors has been probably the biggest piece that I've been pushing.
That's wonderful. And I love hearing that because a big part of being an entrepreneur is nurturing relationships, whether it's with
Mhm.
vendors, clients, etc. And I love hearing that. It's something I don't think we really touch on. We touch a lot on networking, but never really the connection that we build when we're building our
Mhm.
business. It's very important.
Mhm. It's so important, right? Like you have to take care of them for so many reasons. But I also am like, it just it makes a good teamwork, right? When everybody's on the same page and everybody likes each other and works well together, the event is so much more likely to be a success and much easier too for everybody.
Yes, absolutely. Are there specific vendors that you work with in each area of the triangle, or do you kind of use the same ones all over?
Kind of depending on where the event is, or even also like the scope and the budget of the event. So I have certain caterers that I will use if we're looking for a little bit more of a budget friendly option. But also if we have a client who's like their biggest push is the focus on food, then I have a list of vendors from there that we'll sit down and we'll meet with for them to taste the food and work on that. That's part of the intake process too. I think I mentioned that is like what is the most important part of your event, so that also helps me be able to pick vendors for them. Sometimes it's entertainment and we'll pick, the best DJ that I think would be perfect for this or whatever that looks like. Um, And so we're picking the vendors really depending on the location, but really the client style.
I love that. It sounds like you have a lot of relationships and like you can kind of gear your clients' needs towards who you know, and that's great.
Mhm.
Perfect for building
Mhm.
a successful business.
Yeah, thank you.
So I love hearing that. Not a lot of people like know exactly what they do and like who they're looking for. Like you are on it. I love this podcast today.
Oh, thank you.
I've had some conversations with people and they're like, well, I'll just like anyone. And I don't, and I'm like, no, guys, we got to get focused. And you are laser focused.
Well, thank you. I feel like it's definitely been something that I've been learning because at first I was like, oh, I'll take on any event, I'll work with anybody, kind of. But very quickly learned that I can't and I don't want to do that. I want to be really intentional with who I'm working with. And even on the clients that I've taken on, I've had to turn away clients of being like, I don't think that I'm probably the best fit for you, but here's a recommendation for a planner that I think is right up your alley, and being okay and being comfortable enough in what I do to be able to kind of guide them where they need to be.
Oh, that's great. I'm really excited. I can't wait. So you're going to have to come back in a year and update us on all of the progress you've made and tell
Okay.
everything and how successful you are.
Okay. Yay, I'm excited. We're going to do it.
Yes, this is great. So moving forward, I talk a lot. I have ADHD and I apologize.
No, you're
Um,
fine.
but I was thinking about how we met and I couldn't remember if it a networking event?
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
was okay. So we met through networking, which is a big deal too.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think met at maybe it was a BNI Visitors Day.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a
Mm-hmm.
really bad memory, and that was a
Me
pretty.
too, but that sounds right.
Yeah, I'm like I don't. I think it was a BNI. Yeah, it was Visitors Day because it was like a big event, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was like so many people there. I remember this, and you had to like go out, and they had the thing about that event is they had a photographer for headshots, and they had a couple other
Mm-hmm.
different things. I just remember the photographer. I don't know why, but I remember that, and I remember being like a long line with everyone out. And we had talked
Yes.
briefly, and that was a great event too. It could have used a little more balloons. This is just my opinion, but it was great. So that leads me to my next question. Do you do like just parties and events, or do you also do weddings?
Okay. So, yes and no, right? Okay, here's the thing. um, I limit my weddings. I try to, for the most part, only do two a month just because they require um, a lot more attention in a lot of ways. And also, I want to be able to make sure that I'm fully there, right? And weddings are a really emotional day, which is good and bad. There's a lot of good and bad too for weddings. So I try to just limit it so that I can make sure that myself and my team is showing up the absolute best. There is exceptions like October. We're going to be busy every weekend because that's a super busy wedding month, right? But other than that, we try to like really limit it for our team just because it's such an important day for them. And I don't want myself or my team getting burnt out. I want to make sure that we're there to be super excited for their day, that we kind of set the temperature for the overall day in a lot of ways. So we have a really important role for that. As far as weddings specifically, though, it's not necessarily wedding planning. So I won't come on with you and work with you as far as picking out all your linens and your venue and going on all those tours. I do more of a coordination package. And so I come on later in the process when most of those pieces are put into place. And I'm helping you work on things like your timeline, maybe your floor plan. We're working out a lot of those logistics. So my team and I will come on just a few weeks before and really just help finalize those details. And then on the day of, the night before, we'll handle the rehearsal dinner, work over those logistics, and then serve as a point of contact from that point forward for the vendors if there's any questions. And then wedding day, we're there 12 or 15 hours, however long the wedding rental is. And we are helping point people in the right direction, making sure everybody is lined up and ready to go down the aisle. The marriage certificate is where it needs to be. Like all those like little details so that the bride and the groom and the families can be completely present. So yes to weddings, but not a traditional wedding planner.
No, that's great. To be, I know some people that do. I think I've never planned a wedding. What's like day of services? They just offer
Yeah.
it like that.
Hmm.
So that's great
Hmm.
that you were able to do that too, and not have to take on the whole load. Because I personally feel like that'd be a lot.
Yeah. It is a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people who love that. And I do love weddings. Like I love all the things. But I just didn't want to be bogged down by that. I also wanted to have that flexibility to take a weekend away with my husband or work, like corporate events are wonderful because it's a Monday evening event. or it's a Tuesday lunch and learn or anything like that. And it kind of just sticks to more of a traditional work schedule versus weddings when it kind of ties up your whole weekend every weekend. That's not necessarily where I want to go with my schedule for my business.
Understandable. That was me. I started out doing residential, and that's Monday through Friday. And then I tried to dip my toes into commercial. And then I was like, okay, if I'm doing both, I'm working 7 days a week, and this is just not where I
Yeah.
want to spend my time.
No, yeah, it's hard because you also want to take care of yourself. Yeah.
Yes, and sometimes it's really hard. So, do you have any tips for? I don't want to call it balancing work life. We call it blending.
Mhm.
We just blend it together. So, any tips on how to blend those?
I think something for me, first of all, was learning that there is no balance. I felt like it had to be a balance or it had to be an equal balance, right? I'm spending 3 days a week working on my business. So, how do I balance that with taking care of my house or seeing family or friends or whatever? So, the first piece was just acknowledging that there is no balance. Regardless of how much I try or I plan or I schedule, it just doesn't happen and life happens. That was probably the hardest part for me. But then I think besides that is just being able to really prioritize what has to happen. I think as a business owner, everything falls on you. And I think we know that. And logistically, when I started this, I knew I was the one responsible for all of the pieces. But then when you get in it and you start feeling the weight of all the pieces, that is heavy sometimes. And so learning to be able to really prioritize, okay, my clients are taken care of, my vendors are taken care of, I've paid everybody, I'm good. It's okay if I don't answer this email of this somebody wanting to hop on a phone call for 10 minutes because they're trying to figure out like something like not super relevant right now. That can be pushed off till next week when I have a free afternoon. But I don't have to rework this week's schedule for that. Also, I've been really intentional with trying to create like one day a week where I'm open to all of those types of things. If a vendor needs me, if I want to go check out a venue, if I want to be available for client meetings, always have one day a week that I try to keep really, really open for them. And then if it takes us a few weeks to get to it, it takes a few weeks to get to it, but that's okay because it's pretty much open. All that given out of like pressing real like issues that come up with clients or things. Obviously, we don't do anything to get behind, but there's a lot of people who just want to meet for a coffee or want to learn about my business or want to work with us or anything like that. And just learning that not everything has to be done right now. I felt like I was going to turn away opportunities if I pushed them off a week or two, but pushing it off a week or two is pretty common. And I have that space for that. And then it allows me to show up best for them because I know that that one day of a week is pretty much all networking and all connections. And then that's been helpful for me on the flip end of knowing what I can control or not throughout the week.
You should really write a book. I was just listening to you, and I was like, if you could just apply what you said to my life, like I'm just like, wow, I could be so much more productive.
It's definitely trial and error. And there are some weeks where I am just wondering when I'm going to stop and like go to the bathroom, right? And then there's some days when I'm also like, oh, is my phone going to ring at all today? Like, am I going to have any new leads come in? So just riding the waves of it. But thank you.
That's true. That's actually one of the things about entrepreneurship that a lot of people find I don't want to say difficult, but maybe like it unnerving is the fact that like they may not get a call, or they may get a call, they make money and they may not. And that is just something that a lot of people just can't deal with it, and then they're like, nope, I'm going to go back to working for someone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very
Very much
hard
so.
to, I don't want to say balance. We're not going to balance that, but blend that into our lives, because I'm like that. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I made all the money I need in one week. Oh, next week we're not making
Mm-hmm.
money. Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that too. There are some weeks where I'm like, "Ugh, my husband can retire. Like, we're good. We're crushing it. Then there's some weeks that I'm like, I don't even know if I could pay for the groceries right now if somebody was like, we're going to have this. So it's just I think it's also like learning the seasonality of certain positions and trusting in yourself to know that it always does unfold the way it's supposed to, but sometimes it's a little scarier than others.
Absolutely. And slow time for me is same with you, is like January, February, March. And then obviously
Mm,
spring, everyone wants a spring cleaning, and that's great. But then I get this whole thing where I'm like used to resting, and then all of a sudden I'm so busy I can't breathe. And I'm personally been in this business 5 years. I'm still learning how to make that make sense, because
yeah,
that is scary. And you're right. And there's been times when I'm like, well, put it on a credit card because I don't know what else to do.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's been an adventure, I'll tell you that much.
I believe it. It really has. And also, like, I don't know about you, but this past January was not slow for me. So then I also felt like I was a little behind running into February because I was kind of banking on January being slow, and it was not this year. But now it looks like May is going to be slower for me than normal. So it's a lot. I get that when I'm just like, I don't really know what we're doing, but we're going to hang in there and we're going to just make sure everybody's taken care of. And then it's good after that.
No, absolutely. Do you ever feel like, and this is just me asking, if you when you have these like moments of lulls that you need to do something, do you ever feel like real anxious, like, oh, I need to get back out there and network, or I need to run a sale or whatever?
Um, I did at the beginning. I definitely did. Especially with networking. I'm like, if I could just meet more people, then that would be helpful. But then I got a little bit more burnt out. I'm not naturally somebody who loves networking, all those things. Like, I love people, but I love a good one-to-one setting. I'd much rather meet somebody for coffee, grab lunch, hop on the phone versus go into a group of 40 or 50 people and I know nobody. That was super draining to me. So at first, yes, I felt like that. And I also felt like maybe if I run a sale, that would be a good thing. I heard somebody's advice though that said, like, instead of discounting your services to try to get more business, they suggested having like an add-on to it. Um, and like, so instead of looking like you're discounting your services, that you're instead adding to it, and like that would kind of help be a big push. So that's been something I've been really thinking about lately, and how can I offer that in the seasons where I kind of need a little bit more. I would like to fill up my books at a certain point, um, on what add-ons I can do, but I haven't really done either. But I've definitely felt the push to do more because it's hard when you want that and you need that.
It is, and my best friend, she always calms me down because I'll be like, "Oh my god, we have nothing on the books. What am I gonna do?" And she's like, "It's ebb and
Mhm.
flow." She's like, "If you open your mouth right now, guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna start flowing." And every single time it does. And I
Yeah.
still haven't learned how to like master that. The only like sales that I've ever thought about doing, and this was just based on my business, is like spring cleaning and then obviously like Christmas and holiday stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And like I just try to reinvent the wheel, I guess, every time. And I'm like, how do I get more people to get their homes cleaned? And then I'm like, I don't really know how you like sell that. You know what I'm saying? Like as a
Hmm.
so I did it a couple times and then I kind of dropped off because I was like, I really don't understand. But I love the adding more value to it. I think that that's definitely the direction I need to go next time. It's not just your home clean, it's more than that now.
Right. And I think playing into the like emotional side of things too, people are always saying that, right? Like, yes, I can plan your event. Yes, I can clean your home, but what am I really doing, right? I'm freeing up time for you to be present with your family, to enjoy the holidays. It's one less thing for you to do. It's a gift to yourself or everybody around your table, like all of these pieces. And so learning how to factor in that emotional piece to people, I think can be a really big benefit too when you're kind of promoting those items.
No, absolutely. I agree with that. And I'm going to take that into consideration when we move forward because I'm going to do an entire new thing with life. So I'm going to think about
Yeah.
things because that's something that I kind of feel like I don't want to say I failed at. It was just something that just didn't really work well for me because I didn't understand
Mhm.
what I was doing. So that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, because you learn, and then you know what you to do next time or what not to do, and that's part of it too. Is just the learning, good and bad.
Oh, yes. That has been the most fun part of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yes.
So, like, let's talk about advice. I know that a lot of people have lots of advice for people starting out. What was the best piece of advice you got for you to start your business?
Ooh.
Always a good
Um,
one.
I know that is a good one. The best piece of advice, truthfully, I think that came from my husband of just saying, just do it. Like, just start it. I think because I doubted myself a lot, right? I've never done this before. Do I know enough connections here? Am I reputable enough yet? Do I have enough whatever? Do we have enough money saved? Do I have enough whatever? And he was like, just do it. Like, you're not going to get anywhere until you start doing it and you learn as you go. And so I think that that was probably the biggest piece of advice or push for me because I want to make sure that it's good. I want to be proud of what I put my name on, right? My business is named after me. So I want everybody to know and to expect a certain level of service. And getting that push of just do it and having somebody else kind of have that confidence in me and have seen my work for so many years to know that this is something that I could do and just really be a supporter of that, I think was probably the biggest piece of just do it because you'll never know. There's so many things that I've learned in the last year and a half or two that I didn't even know existed before then. So if I would have waited to magically know those things, I would have never started.
That's so true. That's what I always tell people. Do it messy because you can always clean it up later. And
Mhm.
I have started this podcast and it's been a journey of me learning how to podcast. What are good questions? What are not really good questions?
Mhm.
I feel like at this point, I like to do it very conversational. So that way, if there's anything that you want to talk about, then we don't miss that topic. And it's not just me
Yeah.
interview questions at you. Because
Mhm.
I feel like that kind of got a little boring. So you're right. Just do it and then you can figure it out as you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so important. You have to. Mhm.
Absolutely. So tell us about any exciting events you have coming up that you are hosting.
Yeah. Specifically, so kind of back to the earlier piece of working really closely with my vendors. I have an event that I started in January and we're doing it quarterly. So it's coming up obviously every few months, but it's called Gather and Grow. And it's for just other people in the events industry. And we meet and quite literally gather and grow. And we run through what's working well for us. Who can I connect you with? I have this client that's struggling with this. I'm working on hiring. How did you guys recommend, like, work through this? Really kind of just a big open table discussion of us that are kind of just in that events world and we get it. That's probably something that I'm most excited about right now, just because I see the fruit of that in so many ways. And it's really nice. I went to a conference recently, and it was a local conference. So there were a lot of people that I knew, but it was nice to see other people talking and connecting that they didn't know each other before this first event that we hosted. And so, like, it was nice just to really see the benefits of that group really out in the field and in the industry. And then all that does is just make each of us better, but it also makes the industry hopefully as a whole better too, because we're all connecting and growing.
I love hearing that, and I got goosebumps just thinking about
Uh,
how like you guys sit down, you're there to help each other, and this is great. I think this goes beyond networking and more into like personal development, and that's really
Mhm.
great. I mean, it's both, but it's nice to
Yeah.
have that because that is something I feel that I personally am missing in my industry. I don't have
Mhm.
people I can sit down and be like, "Hey, this is what's going on. Let's shoot the shit," you know?
Yeah. That's 100% how it started because I was struggling and I was like, I don't know. How are you guys marketing? What groups are beneficial for you, right? Like, there's a lot of networking groups, but what's worth it for your group and your time? XYZ. And it's just nice to have somebody to be like, or I can just be like, I'm overwhelmed. This is draining today. Like, I'm really overwhelmed. And what are you guys doing to work on your back end? That's been something I've really prioritized this past quarter was putting pieces in place so things could work a little bit more automatically without me as far as from first contact through booking, those types of things. So it wasn't me answering every single email from scratch, right? Like here's how we're going to do this and it's going to go a little bit faster now.
I love it. So you've created your standard operating procedures based on everything that's like kind of happened and learning how to go with it.
Yeah, very much so. Mhm.
I think that's
Yeah.
a challenge for a lot of us because sometimes, and this is just me talking shit about my own business. I didn't know what I was doing, and I just was
Yeah.
like, "We're gonna go out there and we're gonna take this checklist and we're gonna do it," which led to a lot of things happening. uh,
Mhm.
like, and then I've had to also do that too, and like make sure people know that like what I do and don't do, and like and get
Yeah.
it more like you're doing, like automated. I think you're way more organized than me, and it's making me a little nervous. I'm gonna be honest.
No, please don't let it be. Honestly, so it came from a place of feeling burnt out, right? Like, I started my business because I want it to be something that I can foster, something that brings me a lot of joy. And so really it was, how do I create these pieces so that I can still do what I love? I don't know if it's that it does not come naturally to me. And after like the third or fourth time I'm sending pretty much the same email, I'm like, okay, who can I, and a lot of it is outsourcing. Who can I outsource that can work on my CRM side of things and make things beautiful for the client? I don't know how to do that. How can they do that? Hire them to do that. How can I hire a virtual assistant to update some of my other back end things? A lot of it is outsourcing because that's not my skill, or it takes me 20 hours, but I paid them for 4 because that is their world. And I also think it goes back to, I want people to trust me to do my job. And so obviously they can plan their own event. but I also want to lead by example. I can work on my back end. I can do those things, but I can also trust somebody who that's how they support their family or their lives. And how can I support and really benefit some of these local business owners that do those types of things?
Oh, I love that. We had a guest come on, and that was one thing that she had mentioned too was don't ask how you're going to do it, ask who you're going to get to do it. And I was like,
Mhm.
this seems like I need to hire. This seems like I, because there's a lot of things I can do, but you're right. Like it takes me 20, 30 hours to do it. That's not worth my time.
Mhm.
So I need to start out.
No. Yeah.
But
So
that's
definitely don't let the organization side of things fool you because it is organized, but some of it's from me, but most of it is from people that this is their life. And I can just say, this is what I need. I always said, like, there's one girl who works on my back end, and I'm like, brain dump. This is what I've been running into with clients. Can you fix it and just send me an invoice? And she can log in and fix it. And I get an email like 2 or 3 days later that it's done, pay, we're done. Um, and so that's super, super helpful. So it makes me look more organized than I am. So don't let that bother you for sure.
sounds like I'm going to need somebody to do that for me because I am the most disorganized human being I think there is to live. Well, next to my daughter because she is even worse.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
It works for you though, right? Like, it's just how you are. Yeah.
It does to a certain degree. So like I kind of this is just me. I'm on a shoestring budget, and so what I did was is I have my daughter who is an adult now, but she wasn't at the time, and she's more organized than I am, and so I had her doing the scheduling, answering emails, all the
Mhm.
that I am literally the suckiest human being at.
Mhm.
And that worked out really well for me for a period of time, and then it just became chaos because I don't speak her language like you were saying. I don't
Right.
understand like what she's doing, like how we're doing this. So it led to a lot of me wanting to take over even though I had no idea what I was doing. So I love that you were able to like release that and be like, here you go, you're a professional. I love it. And I'm still learning how to do that. And this is just because I still don't know what I'm doing. And that's okay.
That is okay. That's 100% okay. And you learn, like, you just are like, just kidding. I thought I wanted it that way and now I don't. I think being okay with that too is like, right now, this is the best solution I have. Let's try it. And then we'll touch base again in a month or two and see if that really worked or not.
Absolutely. So do you have a 30 second that you do at your networking events that you'd like to share with the class?
Not a good one, but yes, I kind of, kind of. It's honestly kind of really what I said in the beginning, kind of how I introduced my business. So that's Riley Jordan Events. It's full service event planning, coordinating, and consulting. That really means partnering with clients to really create these lasting memories and these experiences for them, turning everyday events into magical moments. And whether that is partnering with you to do your entire event every step of the way, whether that's coming on and doing a partial planning package, if you have pieces that you've already put together, but also just consultation. So if you need help finding venues or recommendations for certain vendors, happy to jump in and have some of those conversations as needed.
I love that. That is so perfect. I'm going to start asking people to do their 30 seconds on here just so that they can sell themselves.
Right? Okay. I hate a 30-second, but I love it because it's important, right? Like you need to know what everybody does and you need to tell them what you do, but I also hate the spotlight on it. Yeah.
That was my biggest struggle whenever I started my business because I was just like, I clean. That's it. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
had. And I was like, I'm supposed to stand here for 30 seconds. And then that's when I started going, oh, this is a what is the word I'm looking for? A weakness. And so I needed to like work on that. And so it has evolved over the years. I still to this day do not have it memorized. You're doing great.
I'm winging it every time I get up on the 30 seconds. Is probably going to sound different tomorrow morning. But I've heard your 30-second, and you would not know that you were winging it at all.
Well, thank you. I
Or not
appreciate that.
memorized. Yeah, not at all.
I base that on a lifelong winging everything. So it just looks natural then, right?
That's right. It works for you, though. That's what I mean. Like, some people, that is the way that they operate, and it works beautiful for them. And there's a lot of times that I wish that I had a little, there's a lot of me that wishes I had more of that in me.
Yeah, it's funny because I think about how I just fly by the seat of my pants and then I'm like, ooh, I gotta clean that mess up a lot. And it's okay because like if I
Mhm.
don't have the chaos, then I can't clean it up, which is why I feel like being a business owner is like the perfect opportunity for
Mm,
me to grow because I'm
yeah.
always cleaning up other things and people's messes.
Yeah.
Great. And not I just laughed at myself because I was like, you clean houses.
But literally and figuratively, yeah, you're cleaning up messes. Yeah, it works.
Oh, I'm so funny. I'm sorry.
I love it. I love it.
I just like to make myself giggle.
You have to, right? You have
Uh,
to.
so I want to leave everybody with like one piece of awesome advice from you. What would it be?
Okay, I just heard this at a conference recently, and it's been like blowing my mind the last 2 weeks. I've been like really mulling over it. But it was really talking about mentors and mentorship. And I think that, especially as a business owner, but I've always been really wanting somebody to help me, like just grow. Can you help me learn from your experiences? Can you see my blind spots? All the things, right? But the idea was to not necessarily just have one mentor, but to view mentorship as almost like your personal board of directors. So you have several different people, and one person is really great at finances, and that's the person you go to for that. There's one person who's really good at family and life balance, and you talk to them about those types of things. There's somebody that you really love that they're always out in the community and doing a lot of things like that. And how do you connect with them? And so that's been something that I've been really loving is the concept of that and building kind of my own team and my own board of directors on kind of who I'm learning from, but also who I can add value to. So I think my biggest piece of advice is just like looking at pieces like that and not necessarily being so worried about finding one person who's the perfect fit for you for a mentor to learn and grow, but just being out there and being open to getting advice from different people on different things.
Absolutely agree with you on that. One of our guests said that even Michael Jordan had a coach, and I was like, oh, you know what? He's like the greatest, right? Never
Yeah,
thought about
yeah.
that.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
So I've been telling people that all the time as I'm not taking my own advice, but that's okay.
It's okay. You're saying it. One day it's going to click. One day you're going to start doing it because it's just going to be habit now.
Absolutely. And you are who you surround yourself with. So as long as I keep
Right.
surrounding myself with these people, I will be good.
Yeah. 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 You learn a lot.
You're absolutely correct. So tell everybody where they can find you on your socials, and do you have a website?
Yes. So I have a website. It's RileyJordanEvents.com. And then socials, it's Riley Jordan Events on Facebook and Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn, but I don't update that as regularly as I should. But I am on there. I try. I try really hard, but it's not as frequent. But that's pretty much where you can find me.
Perfect. And do you want to give any shout outs before we end?
I want to shout out you for thank you for taking this time and this opportunity. Thank you for like using your platform and your reach to help other businesses. And I think that even listening to watching some of the other podcasts, right? Like I learned so many tidbits and it's perfect. I love putting on a podcast in the car. So thank you for what you do. I think that's really important.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the support. This is something that I do because I want to help others, and a little bit selfish because I like to get to know people. I love to talk. So thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another exciting episode of Down Home Dirt. We'll see you next Tuesday. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we're going to link all of her details in the bottom so that you can connect with Riley. We'll see you later.